Good evening, humans. Tyrannosaurusmoth here, and tonight we're taking a look at the Savage Crucible Ko'Mo of the Isles figure from Harvinger Studios. Let's do this. Aesthetically speaking, this figure looks fantastic, and much like the other figures in Wave 1, I have reviewed Unavailable and the Imperial Sentry. Loads of sculpt, loads of paint. It's the same base body here, that we saw with both of those figures. So same things apply, just tons of texture pretty much all over the figure. One thing that was slightly more noticeable here was with the joints, where you can see some of the paint rub there. Just gonna happen, kind of part of it. I mean, that's what happens. It doesn't bother me. I can see it bothering some, but still, looks absolutely fantastic. Here, obviously, we have a different armor set, different coloring. The coloring here being this kind of dark gray with this nice bright blue, which looks very, very nice. Really pops. Kind of a really good color choice there, I think. And then for the chest, we kind of get more of a kind of off cream color. It just all looks very, very pleasant and nice. And then we get to that armor, and much more organic looking armor than we saw before. This is supposed to be kind of less refined character, I guess. So, we get lots of teeth and stuff like that. So we get that off-white here for all of those. And then we get this nice, kind of black base with that orange brush over it. And just a really cool look overall. Really, really nice stuff. And, this armor is a little less hindering than the other two figures I mentioned. So definitely a little bit more mobility there. We'll get to that later. And then, yeah, just really good stuff. Oh, and we have different feet here because this character is kind of half Lemurian, half human. We get shorter feet, which does work in its favor. Another thing we'll get to later. And then the head sculpt, which again, that kind of mix of human and reptilian, and looks very, very nice here. Great idea. Eyes just this very bright yellow, definitely peers out very, very nicely. Just some good stuff overall. So yeah, aesthetically fantastic looking figure. We get a nice loadout of accessories here, similar in breadth to what we have gotten with the other figures. Starting with hands, we do get a couple of gripping hands, and then we get a pair of kind of relaxed / grasping hands, all beautifully painted as well. Then we get into weapons, so we get this really nice sword, obviously a silver base, and that kind of goes into this burnt umber sort of orange-ish color, some kind of yellow not dry brush, it's probably kind of just the touch up there. And then I get some glyphs here on the blade itself, some nice nicks and dings. Great sculpt on the hilt and the handle as well. We see this kind of bird skull, and then some other finer details, the wraps and the pommel down here. So just good stuff all around. Then we get this sort of primitive axe, so we see all those claws and stuff like that on this kind of curved shape here. Again, we see that bright orange come back into play. Then we get some more detail work here on the handle. So again, that rough texture that we see on a lot of the armor. And then this almost kind of eldritch sort of design here before the head. So really cool stuff there. Then we get a little pouch, and not dissimilar to what we saw with Unavailable. Just this looks more like a leather pouch with just a touch of blue over it. So nicely done. You can see a tab there, so that goes into the belt, and there's that. Then of course, behind the map and the packaging, we do get a card. Mine just happened to be the Royal Guard here, so I did get this card before, so I got two of these now. So there's that. And then as a bonus, if you got the Huntsman accessory pack, you do get things specifically for this figure. So starting with a mask, and this just kind of slips over the head sculpt. It's pretty cool. It just kind of adds a different dimension, gives him a little more armor. So I really like that. Then we get a pair of calves, so you can take the armor off, because the armor here, they are actually part of the sculpt. They're part of the figure, with the exception of the shoulders and the delt. And so as you can see, that same paint job with the dark gray and the bright blue accents. Then we get a pair of forearms for the exact same purpose. And finally, we do get a new head sculpt, kind of a Dilophosaurian sort of look. You can see with the kind of double crest here, the bihawk as it were. Get that nice blue down the middle. No articulated jaw for this head sculpt, but that's still fine, it just works really well. I believe this is called the Croaking Hybrid. If you put this on the body, I think one of the other cards I got was for that. So yeah, so that will do it for accessories. Articulation here is beautiful, just like it is on the other figures. However, the balance is still an issue, and part of that is the same issue we talked about with the last two figures. But getting into the kind of finer points of the actual articulation, we do have our barbell joint, thank you, going from the neck into the head, which actually allows for some really nice range. So there's our up, we got that for down, we get lots of nice tilt, we get rotation, of course. We do have some butterfly joints that only go forward. We don't get back, or they only go forward. We don't get any back for these. They just come back into neutral, and they come forward, so you can get some of those nice sword wielding poses. For our arms, we're coming up into a perfect T. We do have bicep swivel. It's not really activating there. Then we get double jointed elbows, but with all the figures with the armor, I really haven't gotten past 90, which is a little sad, but is what it is. We get rotation in all of those joints as well, because these are those kind of NECA style, like the elbow is its own piece. We do get vertical hinges for the gripping hands and rotation. We get horizontal for the relaxed hands. Then we get ball joint in the diaphragm, ball joint in the waist, my favorite combination. And we get all the crunch, beautiful. All the arch back, though we do get a little bit of gap, so be mindful of that. We get all the side to side rotation from both joints as well. Just fantastic all around. Hips, pretty much full splits, positively beautiful. Front kick, full 90. We do get thigh swivel, double jointed knees, bring us up to there. And again, because we have this separate piece for the knee, we do get rotation at the top, rotation at the bottom. We get rotation at the ankle. We get full on point, some beautiful forward, and a toe hinge. And just like before, again, the company does know about this. The ankles are super, super loose, so you're really not gonna get much of a strong base there. However, they are fixing that for those that have participated in the Kickstarter / pre-orders. So more news on that coming forward, I guess. But overall, just still really fun, nice articulation. One quick correction, if you'll excuse the completely different background for a second, but one piece of articulation I forgot to mention, because it's kind of barely there, is he does have a tail. So much like the other figures, this is the hinge and swivel. Of course, we just got this little stub, I guess, because he's part human. So yeah, so there's that, and that will do it for articulation. Getting into size comparisons, here he is with some other Savage Crucible figures. With some domestics, with some imports, with some monsters. Finally, with Articulate Icons Oni, and yours truly in human form as a Valorous Action Force figure. So my final thoughts on the Savage Crucible Ko'Mo of the Isles figure from Harvinger Studios is that this figure rules just like the rest of them have. Again, a great line, some really fun, awesome articulation. The ankles, definitely an issue. However, the fact that they've addressed that so far, and that it is something they're looking to fix, not only for this wave one, for those who have gone through the Kickstarter. I'm not sure about the pre-orders. This one I went through the website and did the pre-order as opposed to the, or actually no, I ordered directly. So this is once they had them in stock, and I was like, okay, you know what? Actually, I do enjoy the other figures. I want to delve more into this. So I got this, but at least for the Kickstarter figures, they're definitely replacing the ankles on those figures, which I'm excited about. And everything else here is really just awesome. There's so much good stuff going on with this line, and the fact they're going to be fixing it in future waves. I think the Kickstarter actually funded up through wave 3 or 4. So some really good stuff coming. And again, if they're making adjustments along the way, it's only going to get better. Highly recommend it. Unfortunately, this is currently sold out everywhere. However, I think they might be selling this possibly at their con appearances or something like that. It might show up on various places online, but as of right now, there's nowhere. So I can't put a link or two in the description, unfortunately. So I wish you the best of luck out there, and hopefully they do a reissue at some point. But beyond that, I just hope you found this review informative and somewhat entertaining. And if so, I hope to see you back. But really, at the end of the day, I just hope that you're well, hope that all of your toy dreams come true, and most importantly, I hope that you and yours Stay weird, simians.